In the heart of Metropolis, where the city's pulse thrummed with life, there stood a humble abode where two iconic figures resided. Tom, the ambitious yet often disheartened cat, and Jerry, the wild and loyal mouse. Their perpetual chase had amused audiences for years, but behind their ceaseless rivalry lay a story of profound longing, bitter betrayal, and ultimately heart-wrenching despair. It all began on a bright summer afternoon where Tom's world was irreversibly altered by the arrival of a captivating female cat named Toodles. With fur as soft as moonlight and eyes that sparkled like precious gems, she danced into Tom's life like a dream, stirring emotions he had long believed to be beyond his reach. From the moment their eyes met, Tom was entranced by Toodles' grace and beauty. He resolved to win her affection, throwing himself into a wind of romantic gestures and heartfelt declarations. To his delight, Toodles responded in kind. Their days were filled with laughter and joy as they explored the world together, oblivious to the trials that lay ahead. But as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. One fateful evening, as Tom roamed the dimly lit streets in search of adventure, he stumbled upon a sight that shattered his fragile happiness into 1,000 pieces. Toodles nested in the arms of another cat named Butch. The sight struck Tom like a physical blow, his heart twisting with the pain he had never known. Unable to comprehend the betrayal before him, he confronted Toodles and Butch, his voice trembling with anguish. But before he could utter another word, Butch, a hulking brute of a cat, lashed out with savage fury, his blows raining down upon Tom with a merciless force. Bruised and battered, Tom lay on the unforgiving pavement, his spirit crushed beneath the weight of his despair. Through tear-blurred eyes, he watched as Toodles walked away with Butch, their laughter echoing in the darkness like a cruel mockery of his pain. Back at the house, Jerry sensed his friend's anguish and rushed to his side, determined to lift Tom out of the depths of his despair. With unwavering loyalty, he tried everything he could think of, from sharing moments of camaraderie to offering words of comfort. But Tom's grief was too profound to be assuaged. Day by day, Tom withdrew further into himself, his once vibrant spirit eclipsed by the shadow of his sorrow. Jerry watched helplessly as his friend slipped deeper into despair, his heart heavy with the weight of their shared anguish. Desperate to save his friend from the darkness that threatened to consume him, Jerry embarked on a mission to bring joy back into Tom's life. He orchestrated elaborate schemes and heartwarming surprises, hoping to elicit even the faintest glimmer of a smile from his downtrodden friend. But despite Jerry's best efforts, Tom remained lost in his sorrow, his heart hardened by the betrayal he had endured. Try as he might, Jerry could not breach the walls that Tom had erected around himself, leaving him feeling powerless in the face of his friend's anguish. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Tom's despair only deepened, his once bright eyes now dulled by the weight of his sorrow. Jerry, racked with guilt and remorse, could only watch in silent agony as his friend's spirit withered away before his very eyes. Finally, as the darkness of night descended upon the city, Tom made his way to the desolate train tracks on the outskirts of town, his footsteps heavy with resignation. With each step, the weight of his despair pressed down upon him, threatening to crush him beneath its suffocating embrace. As he reached the edge of the tracks, Tom sank to his knees, his heart heavy with regret and longing. In the distance, the mournful wail of an approaching train filled the air, its ominous cry a harbinger of the end that awaited him. With tears streaming down his face, Tom closed his eyes one final time, his soul consumed by the darkness that had haunted him for so long. And as the train thundered towards him, its headlights cutting through the darkness like a beacon of fate, Tom surrendered himself to the inevitable. In that fleeting moment, as the world faded into oblivion, Tom's sadness swallowed him whole, leaving behind only echoes of a life lost to despair. And in that moment, Tom ended his life, all to escape the sadness he felt. In the end, Tom's tale stands as a haunting reminder of the fragile nature of happiness and the devastating power of betrayal. And as Jerry gazes upon the empty space where his friend once stood, he couldn't help but wonder, what more could he have done to save Tom from the depths of his despair?